Yeah, hello guys. Welcome to this live chat. My name is Dr. Pepple. I'm sure you all know me. I'm gonna have two of my friends join me today or join us today to discuss how to go through the process of studying abroad, getting your admission up until the student life in the UK and everything, and even the US. So I'm gonna be starting the first one with someone who's done almost all his education here in the UK. I think he's in Scotland, so I will bring him on here and we kickstart the session immediately. Hey, big man.
Hey, Dr. Pepple.
Hello?
Hey, Dr. Pepple, how are you?
Come on, what's going on? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can
Oh,
hear
no,
you.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. What's going on?
I don't know why. But I can hear you, though.
Okay.
I,
You know what?
can
Just
you hear
hold
me now?
on a minute. Let me see. Probably I need
Okay.
to get.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. How are you?
I'm all right, man. And you?
I'm fine. I'm doing well. Yeah.
Okay.
So, how's your day? How's your day? Seems like you're
No,
cold.
yeah, no, yeah. I went out today, and then I mean it's quite sunny outside, but then the wind is too much.
Yeah.
So it was quite windy, so I got cold and before coming back home.
Yeah. I'm sweating right
So,
here though. So we have some people here: Mina D, Bev, Lamenya. Yeah, a lot of people joining us already. So we kickstart because I'm gonna record this whole thing, so people who are joining us later can still get a hold of what we've done. So yeah, for everyone watching, this is Engineer Maclean. I'll just let him introduce himself, tell us what he's doing, where he is, and we'll just start. We'll have a couple of questions and outline for this session. So basically, I started this, or I'm just starting this because I have so many people ask me questions because they know I school, I did part of my uni here. So they're asking me questions and I've been trying to answer them, but the thing is, it gets to the point where it becomes a bit difficult to respond to people individually. So I feel I can get all of them to come at the same time and just listen to not just me alone, but to other people who've got similar experience as well, just to answer their questions and address their concerns. So that's why we are doing this. Do you want to just tell us about yourself briefly? Thank you.
okay, all right, thank you. So my name is Maclean. I'm a petroleum engineer by training, and so I did my undergrad in London at London South Bank University,
Yeah.
and I also did my masters there. And then in between, I went back to Nigeria for my NYSC, and then came back for my PhD, which I'm currently on at the moment. So I'm currently in my third year of my PhD.
Mm.
Of course, PhD is actually quite flexible, so I'm supposed to be done with it by the end of this year, but I'm thinking of probably pushing it a few months into 2021 and see how it goes from there. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm a petroleum engineer by training.
Yeah, that's quite a rich one. So you used to be a Londoner, yeah?
Yeah. I stayed in London for 5 years. I mean, I started with my foundation course.
Mm.
Obviously, coming from Nigeria, because of the difference in the educational system, if you're coming to the UK to start your undergrad, it's most likely that you're going to start from foundation course. So that was what I started with in 2010. And then I did that for 6 months. And then before getting admission into the university for my first degree. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the foundation, right? Because so foundation, for you to do foundation in the UK, foundation year in the UK, it means
Yeah.
you haven't had any university experience at all.
Yeah, it means you haven't had any university experience at all. You just finished from your high school or secondary school, as the case may be.
Yeah.
And then, and for some too, because I've seen a couple of guys that I've actually had university experience, like let's say 1 or 2 years, but then they still subject them to foundation course because of the difference, like I said, in the educational system. So they feel like, I mean, it's not like downgrading Nigeria as a
Yeah.
whole, but they feel like, of course, we're not going to run away from the truth that
Yeah.
the system is quite different. So they feel like you're not up to the level they want you for. So they want to get you to that level, a certain level, before they push you into the system.
Yeah.
So more like a learning curve for you to go gradually into the system.
Yeah. So so doing foundation, right? So that means the requirement for doing foundation is different from like starting proper undergrad.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. So it's different. So the requirement for foundation is your school cert, your SSC, WAEC or NECO, as the case may be.
All right.
So
Okay, so for people joining us, because I know a lot of these things, but I will be asking some very basic questions so that people will understand what we're talking about. So you know how if you want to come for undergrad, you basically just apply for any university you want. Probably go on Google search, check out
yeah,
whatever university you want, look at the criteria or the places you want to live in and all those kind of things. You might have some universities in mind and all that. But to do
yeah,
foundation, is it
yeah.
the same thing, or when you apply for undergrad, they'll tell you no, you're not qualified for undergrad. This is recommended
No,
foundation
yeah. So
program for you.
so it's two. Yeah. So you can go through that via two different ways. So one is you apply for the undergrad directly to the university of your choice,
Yeah,
and then they tell you that you are supposed to go through a foundation course.
yeah,
And then secondly, you might decide to apply directly to a college
yeah,
that does foundation course, and
yeah.
then you go through that college, and after that college, you can now apply to a proper university for, and that was the route I took. I
Okay,
applied to a college, and then after the college, I applied directly to the university with 60, I think it was 65% or 60% that you need to score at that time from the foundation course before you will be admitted into the university. And I think moving on from then, a lot of the universities today, they've also created another pathway.
okay,
They've created another pathway. For instance, I think Sheffield and Manchester and some other universities, what they've been doing over a couple of years is they have some colleges in Nigeria. I think I know one or two in Lagos. They have one or two colleges in Nigeria where you go for your foundation course there, and then once you're done with that, you just apply directly to the university. Yeah.
okay. So yeah, that kind of helps to cut down on cost and some other logistics. Yeah,
Yeah, so that you don't have to come to the UK to
yeah,
spend another
yeah.
money for the foundation course. You just do it in Nigeria.
And how long
So I
is the
think
foundation course?
a maximum of a year, minimum of 6 months.
Okay. So after
Yeah,
that,
so it
if you're
varies. Yeah,
successful, automatically you get admitted into like undergrad program.
it's like undergrad. Yeah,
Okay, okay. The foundation year and undergrad, which is more expensive?
the undergrad is more
Okay,
expensive
so foundation year is
because I,
more.
yeah, because I remember I think my foundation was about £6,000 or thereabout,
Yeah,
and then my undergrad I started with £9,000 before moving
yeah,
on to 10,000.
yeah. Okay. So people basically, if you haven't been to uni at all, if you haven't been to any higher institution in Nigeria and you want to come to the UK to do uni, maybe undergrad, you have to do foundation course first before you proceed to doing the proper undergrad. So now for someone who's done undergrad,
Okay.
yeah, and wants to come to the UK to do undergrad again.
Yeah, in some cases, yeah. So in that case, it depends on several factors. One is are the courses related?
All right.
Yeah. So for instance, if I studied let's say um, chemical engineering in Nigeria,
Yeah.
and then I'm coming over to the UK to do undergrad in say petroleum engineering.
Yeah.
They are quite related.
Yeah.
So some universities might want to say, okay, since you've had your undergrad in Nigeria, chemical engineering, they might take you on not from first year, but from second year, more like you've done more like the equivalent of you doing
Direct entry.
HND,
Yeah.
HND here, and
Yeah.
then after your HND, you move to second year
Yeah.
of the university. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. But otherwise, you just go through
Yeah.
the
So
normal
otherwise, you just go through the normal process, and then.
All right. So what we'll be talking about is probably going through because so many people have I've got so many questions here. One of them is that it's quite difficult to get admission in the UK. They don't know how to go about. They are paying some agents and they are swindling them of their money. When I came here to do my program, right, I actually did the whole search myself, got the admission. I did all the process all by myself. I never paid anyone. I never got anyone involved. So we'll talk about that. But before we go to that, I mean, you've gone through foundation, undergrad, postgrad. Do you think it's really some people are breaking their head like I just need to come abroad to study. I just need to even if they've done uni in Nigeria or in Africa,
Yeah.
wherever, and they just feel like the UK university or educational system is quite superior. Do you think that is quite necessary? Do you think that people should really go abroad to study?
Yeah. I mean, without trying to downgrade the educational system in Nigeria, like I said before, I want to say that it is very necessary. Imagine there's nothing wrong in going for what you don't have.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong in going for what you don't have, especially if you have the means to get that thing. So in this case, we all know if we can be truthful to ourselves that the Nigeria educational system is not there yet. So with that in mind, you
Mm.
probably want something better than what is obtainable back home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can go all and on, and I can give you some instances. For instance, the industrial action in Nigerian public universities or even the
Mm.
federal universities, it's something you hardly find here. And
Yeah.
even when you do, you don't even feel it that much.
Yeah. And
Like in
you
my,
still get the right result.
yeah, you still get the right result. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
that's not to say that those in Nigerian universities cannot compete favorably with those here.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to that aspect, it has to do with the students in particular,
Yeah.
not necessarily. But then at the end of the day, here in the UK, for example, you are exposed to, I mean, starting with the environment
Yeah.
and with the e-resources and all that, learning resources and everything,
Yeah.
which we can find in Nigeria. It's something that you need to jump on. If you have the means to, you
Yeah.
should jump on that. So I think it's necessary if the means is available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, for everyone watching us, we are not downgrading any system, right? We're not speaking ill of any educational system. We're just trying to compare and give you the option or give you all the information so you decide on which one you think is best for you. I'm trying to make this whole conversation very, very chatty one, not like very, very professional. If I want
Mm.
to share like an experience. People go, there are various universities, private universities now in Africa or in Nigeria that are very, very, very up to standard, right? And they've got so many equipment, e-library and everything. But some of us actually went to government public universities where we never had access to some of these modern things, so to say. So when I came to the UK first to do my master's here, when I got to the library, I was shocked. I was like, I literally
Yeah,
disgraced myself because I didn't know what to do. First of all, I didn't even know how to get into the library. I didn't even know how
I
to
know.
access the materials, the books, and everything. They were just, I was like, no, you know what I told my friend? I was like, man, I think if I become the president of Nigeria, I will compulsorily say every undergrad should come to the UK for 3 months and go back. Yeah, because it will change everything completely. I don't know if you felt that same way. So,
Yeah. I mean, I had the same experience, and I had same experience. I mean, even from using the library, I mean, you get a card and all that. I
yeah,
mean, so I mean, it's part of the cultural shock that you'll be exposed to once you get to the UK for your studies, and then, but the good thing is that with time you get used to everything. So
exactly.
and
Yeah,
then once you settle in, you begin to see the difference between the two uh, systems. I remember someone came to study to do his masters, and then he wanted to type something, and he was like, "Maclean, can you take me to a business center to type?" so, so I mean, so it was a funny experience, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I just laughed for a few seconds, and I'm like, okay, I understand it's part of what I pass through to, but here you'll
Yeah.
be taught, you'll be taught on how to do all those things by yourself. There's nothing like business center that you have to go through and type your work. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So people are already asking questions. So we'll answer your questions later. So, but you can just keep them coming. Now let's talk through the process of actually coming to do a program, whether masters, whether undergrad, whether PhD, whatever. So, how do people go about getting the university of their choice, applying, and eventually getting the admission?
Okay, so in trying to get the university of your choice, I know a lot of people will normally just go on Times website and then check the Times university rating. A lot of people are more concerned about the university rating.
Yeah,
A lot of people are more concerned about the tuition fees. A lot of
yeah.
people also are more concerned about the course they want to come and study.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put these factors together, I think
Yeah,
these factors will probably push you to the university of your choice.
yeah,
And then once you've decided, of course, it's not cheap to study in the UK. So
yeah.
what I normally tell people is, in as much as you want the Ivy League schools and all that,
Mm.
at the same time you need to consider uh,
Your pocket.
your pocket. Yeah, you need to consider what is in your account. So because you don't want to come here and become a burden to anybody,
Yeah.
or to your parents back home, or to your guidance. So when you put all these factors together and you decide the school you want to study,
Mm.
then for undergrad, I mean, it's slightly different for masters, because most undergrad these days, like I said, there is no direct application to the universities. So you go through UCAS application. So it's kind of like a platform for applying for undergraduate courses to universities here.
Mm-hmm.
And then for for masters, then you can apply directly to the universities.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for undergrad, like I think we've touched on undergrad.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Let's do
yeah.
undergrad first before we go to the postgraduate ones.
Okay. Yeah, so for undergrad, you obviously you need your school. It could be your SSC or NECO, your WAEC or NECO, so to say. Gone are those days when they said they don't have NECO.
Yeah.
This time around they do.
They
So
take everything.
so
Yeah.
they take everything. Yeah. So
Is
you
that
need
5 credits?
5 credits. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then obviously the English is compulsory, since you're coming. English language is a major requirement. So
Yeah.
English is compulsory anyway. So once you get that, you go through the UCAS website to apply for the. But sometimes if you can break into the university, by breaking into the universities, if you, let's say you have 10 people that want to apply for undergrad course, you can just talk to the university directly, and then they might just still insist that you apply through UCAS to have an official record, but then they speed up everything through a paper or online paper application direct to the university too. And yeah, I think that's it for the undergrad. And like I said before, if they go through your application and then they see that you need to pass through the foundation course, then they'll let you know and then advise you that, okay, look, you're coming to the UK because you didn't meet the requirement, the complete requirement. You need to pass through this foundation course, and after that, you progress to the first year of your
Of your undergrad.
uh, undergrad. So the advice I usually give to anyone that wants to come for undergrad is to save cost. You might as well go to Lagos and do the foundation course there before moving to the UK, before applying to the university in the UK.
Yeah.
Except you want to come to the UK and use that 6 months to
Mm.
get used to the system, and then that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
That's what I did in my case. I did the 6 months here to get used to the system before before moving on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's actually something you touched on earlier. When I asked when we were talking about the entry requirement, obviously you need 5 credits, and one of them must
Yeah.
be English, right?
Yeah.
If you, I know that in masters, for instance, some universities will want you to have a separate
Yeah.
proof of English language, which is
English. Yeah.
either IELTS or something.
Yeah. Mostly
Uh,
IELTS.
yeah, some will say, oh, okay, even if you studied in English, you still need a proof. You probably have to go to your uni and they give you an official document to say you studied in English, separate from your credit score in English. For
Yeah.
undergrad, is that the same thing?
No, for undergrad, no, it's not. Most of the universities, as long as you don't score, you have at least C6
Yeah,
in English
yeah,
on your
okay,
WAEC. Yeah,
yeah,
so it's accepted. Yeah,
okay, all right.
yeah,
So that is basically for undergrad. Then
yeah.
for postgraduate, starting with masters. So
Y-
for people who are watching, okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, so for postgraduate, it's a bit easy or flexible compared to undergrad. So for postgraduate, some uni some universities do accept even 2-2, not even 2-1. So 2-1 is even you stand a better chance of getting that. So for postgraduates, same thing, same similar process to apply to any university. So first of all, you still need to do your search, whether you need the Ivy League schools, you need the schools within your budget, and
Mm-hmm.
then the cities too that your schools
Mm-hmm.
you want to live or you want to study in. And then once you come to that conclusion, you can apply directly to the university. So in the case, so this is where it differs a little bit. In the case of undergrad, they mostly go through the UCAS platform, but in the
Yeah.
case of postgraduates, most of the universities you can apply directly to them, and so obviously you need the proof of English, like you rightly said,
Yeah.
but in this case, most of the universities too normally accept your WAEC English,
Yeah.
and then as long as you did your course in English.
Yeah.
So of course in Nigeria we accept those that studied in let's say Benin Republic, which we know, and
Yeah.
so but as long as you did your undergrad in English, and
Yeah.
then you've got your WAEC C6, you are allowed to apply directly to them with, of course, your BSc or BA certificate. And of course, you need one of the most important things, which I forgot to mention earlier on, has to be while applying, you need a very strong personal statement to accompany your application. So both for undergrad and masters, you need a very strong personal statement to accompany
Yeah.
your application.
Yeah. Okay. So hello? 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 Can you still hear me? All right. So for everyone joining us now, we're not ignoring you guys. It's just because we were recording the call. So I mean the conversation. So that's why we're not mentioning your names. But at some point, I will probably have to acknowledge you. But thank you for joining us. And your questions, we're looking at your questions. We're going to answer the questions in a short while. For now, we just don't want to, disrupt the flow of the conversation. Yeah, we've talked about undergrad, talked about postgrad, admission process, and all of that. Just to add to what Maclean has said already, if you're coming to do your postgraduate, especially your masters, for instance, there are different types of masters. You can decide to do masters by. This thing is echoing. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's clear
Yeah.
from my
So
end.
all right, so there's masters by, I think there's research one. You can do masters by
Yeah,
research. There's masters by dissertation, masters by exams, and different
talk.
forms. So when he was talking about the English language requirement, even though some of the difference with here and Nigeria, Africa, or something is that the authorities actually listen. Because I remember when I was applying for
Yeah,
my masters, and they said I need a proof of English language. I said, come on, man, look, I studied in English and I've got
yeah,
credit in my English. I think it was even an A. My English was A2 or whatever.
yeah,
They said no. I need to take an official English language test. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I studied the English. Like, I
Yeah.
was communicating with them via email, and it was smooth. They will respond to you, you know. So they said, okay, can we get an official document to
Yeah.
say that you studied in English? So I had to print out my BSc results, my GSS 101, 102, all those stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also got a separate letter from the vice chancellor, the secretary of the university, to say that we studied in English, and that settled the whole problem. Meanwhile, some other people who came on the same program with me actually had to write IELTS.
Yeah, true.
So it depends on how persistent and how you are able to convince them. Some of these people, they listen. The procedures and the requirements are not like something you have to take hook, line, and sinker. They're not like strict like that. You can actually get some things amended for you. That's what I think people need to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. And yeah, I remember Newcastle did the same thing to some of my friends. They
Yeah.
they insisted they need the IELTS exam,
Yeah.
and but then they opted for other universities that didn't require that. That just needed their WAEC results. They just needed to say the C, not less than C6 in their English. So it varies across the uni. And like you said, if you discuss with them and all that, it's not like it's fixed and it can be changed. Nothing is cast on stone, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to highlight from what you've said is when people are coming to do a program in the UK, undergrad, masters, there are different things you look at. You can't decide to look at student satisfaction. You can't decide to look at graduate rating, job rating. How easy is it for you to get a job afterwards in the UK? Because some people want to stay back. You decide on, you have to look at the tuition. How much are you willing or able to pay? You know, and also you look at what type of schools. You talked about Ivy League schools and all that, but how relevant exactly is that to what you want to achieve in the future
Exactly.
ultimately?
Yeah.
You know, because some universities you can pay as little as £8,000 to £9,000 per annum for tuition, while some you can pay as much as £30,000, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to consider all this. Do you want to pay £30,000, which can actually pay for 3 years in some other university for a year, you know? So these are the issues, right? Moving forward, you know, when I put out the caption and people thought, oh, we are going to give them scholarship on this. No, we are not. It's not about scholarship. The information we are giving is for free. However, we can open the gateway for you to also know that there are other opportunities you can actually use to get scholarship, to get funding for your uni. Okay, so let's talk a bit about funding in terms of getting scholarship or something. I know that, first of all, if you manage to pay your tuition for so many universities, it happened to me as well. If you manage to pay your tuition on time when you start your uni, some universities give up to 10 to 15% of your money back to you when you start uni.
Yeah.
Some can give it in form of maybe laptops or some other logistics, but some actually will give you as cash. I got like £3,000 when I started back from my uni, so that was like free money because my parents didn't know about it, so I just had to.
Yeah. Did you pay your tuition in full at that time?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's one way. And then in addition to that, they also, most universities now, I think almost all of them, if not, but I know more than 90% of them. In addition to that, too, there is about £1,000 for international students.
Yeah.
So whether you pay in full or not is automatically deducted, but it won't be deducted initially. It will be deducted probably when you're about to pay your second installment.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. Good.
And then and then when you start the university proper, there are several other scholarships within the university. For instance, in the University of Strathclyde, which is where I'm doing my PhD at the moment, we were able to, when I mean we, the Nigerian Student Society, we were able to prevail on the university to set up a scholarship scheme for Nigerians in the Faculty of Engineering.
Yeah.
In honor of the late former Vice President of Nigeria, Dr. Alex Ekweme, who
Yeah.
who finished
Who
from
went
University
from
of
the
Strathclyde.
university. Yeah.
Yeah, so and then we're still trying to get more of such scholarship scheme on board.
Yeah.
So and then when you get to some other university like Glasgow Caledonian University,
Yeah.
you have people like Sir Alex Ferguson scholarship and all that. So I think when you start the university proper, you're going to come across lots of scholarships and scheme.
Yeah. Yeah. So also talking about scholarships, yeah, because one of the main reasons that motivated me to even do this live session is because
Yeah,
some people are applying for scholarships in Nigeria, and
yeah,
when they hear that, let's say LNG or Mobil or Shell, something
sure.
federal government scholarship is on, they start running helter skelter to get admission, so as to apply for this scholarship. So that is, I don't think that's the right thing to do. First of all,
No,
what you
yeah,
need to
exactly.
do is go and get an admission. So it's not that hard to get an admission. You've heard
Yeah,
how the process of getting a UK admission, which is what we've talked about. So
mm,
you start on time. Normally, the universities in the UK start in September and sometimes in January, right?
general.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So sometime in March, April, admission process should have started. So you go ahead, do your search, what university you want to go to. You can apply to so many universities at the same time. Get the admission. You get the admission letter doesn't mean that you've gotten that you are there, you're a student.
yeah,
So get the admission offer and keep it. Then start applying for the scholarship. There is Chevening scholarship, there is Mobile, there is Shell. There are so many scholarship opportunities in
guys,
Nigeria.
PTDF and then NDDC and all that.
A lot. And contrary to what people think that you need to know someone to get scholarship in Nigeria,
Uh,
some of them is based on merit. If you do the right thing, you will get it.
yeah,
And
I'm,
when you get and I will give you a chance to so when you get it, um because you already have the university offer, the admission offer, it becomes easier for you to go through the process. While some people will get the scholarship and they haven't got admission, so it takes them forever to sort out the whole thing and they lose it eventually. So I think the right thing is for you to go ahead first of all, source for the admission. When you get that, then you can start applying for scholarship. Is there anything you want to add to that?
yeah, no, I think you said it all. You said it all. So most people normally think that in Nigeria, the Nigerian factor always comes into play, where
Yeah.
you need to know this person, you need to know the other person for you to get those scholarship. But believe me, there are a lot of people that are on those scholarships based on merit without knowing anybody. I'm probably a case study of that. So all through my foundation till now, I've been on
Mm,
scholarship, and
mm.
uh, all of them have been on merit. So, and then the other thing
Yeah.
is getting the admission early enough before you don't start rushing looking for admission now. You can always get the admission, and if you don't get the scholarship this year, so for instance, if your offer was for this year and then you
Yeah.
applied for the NDDC scholarship or PTDF scholarship,
Yeah.
and you're not able to get the scholarship this year, you can always tell the university they can defer your admission, push it to next year.
Yeah.
So you have something that you can use to apply for next year PTDF or NDDC scholarship, as the case may be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to touch on that, someone asked in the comment section, is the scholarship also for undergrad? Yes, there is. When I was coming to the UK, like right on the plane, some guy who was seated beside me on the same plane said he got 7 year scholarship by Amnesty International from Niger Delta to study medicine in the UK. So he was coming for undergrad. So scholarship is for all categories of students, it doesn't matter. So moving a bit from that, let's talk about living condition, because some people manage to get scholarship, right? From
Okay,
my
yeah, one sec before you go, and if I can drop if they one of the scholarship link that they will probably find useful, they might find useful on Facebook.
yeah.
Yeah, so if they can check on the Main Man Foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Main Man Foundation.
Okay, so guys, those who just joining us now, we're gonna have this recorded and we'll put link to any information we think you need to explore further, like the scholarship page and all of that. So don't worry about it that much. You're gonna have everything. We're here just to help you out and make life easy for you. Yeah. So some people manage to get scholarships from Nigeria. They come over here to do uni, and the scholarship body pays for the scholarship. They promise them to pay for maintenance, and it gets to the point where some of them disappoint them. People need to work to
Yeah.
make, yeah. So can we talk about working and schooling? How easy is it for someone to work and to school? And is it even possible to get a job on the side while you're doing your program in the uni in the UK?
Yeah, it's possible. Like for every international student, you're allowed to work 20 hours when school is in session, and then you can work as much as you want when school is not in session. So 20 hours per week, though. It has to be per week.
Mm.
So, but then you also need to consider you don't want you don't want it to clash with your school program. So you need
Yeah,
those flexible jobs that probably weekends, or
yeah.
some people decide to take the ones in the night,
Mm.
but and then dedicate the daytime and the weekdays to their studies, while the weekend and the night are for those jobs. And then another factor is you need to also consider if you're coming to the UK to study and you want to work while you're studying, then I mean, your choice might just be one of the big cities where these jobs are very much available for you to
Available.
do. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, it's very much possible for you to do that and add
yeah,
up to whatever you have.
yeah. So it's possible for you to work whilst you're doing your program in the uni in the UK. It's something that you need to know. The other thing also that you need to know about working and schooling, like you said, is about how much time you are allowed to work. Working 20 hours during normal term times, but holidays you can work unlimited hours. But you also have to consider what you've come here for. Have you come to work or you've come to school?
Mm.
So you have to weigh your options and decide which one should be the most important to you, really. And moving from that also, living expenses in the UK, some people are actually self-funded. They want to come on their own. Their parents are paying. They want to know, is this going to drain us or not? When you are applying for, I will give Maclean some time
Mm.
to elaborate on that as well. But I just want to mention that when you're applying for uni to come over, there's something called maintenance fee, which maintenance allowance, whatever, which you have to show evidence for.
Yeah.
So I think in London universities, they will say 1,200 and something pounds. You need to have
Mm.
that amount by 9 months, times 9 months in your account for about 1 month before you can apply for visa, which is the tier 4 visa. If it's a uni outside London, it's about £1,000 or thereabout. So, but that's to say this is how much you're expected to spend on the average as a student. But when you come over, depends on your lifestyle, depends on your personality as well. You have to cut down or cut your coat according to your cloth now, or even according to your
Yeah.
size, whatever. But on the average, you can actually spend less than that on living expenses per month, considering how much you pay for accommodation, how much you pay for utility bills. I think those ones are mostly covered because you're a student, and how much you pay on food, transport, and all that. But definitely, you're going to spend less than that maintenance fee, which is stipulated by the admission body or by the government. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if I can add to that, one way of doing of if you want to spend less than that, or if you want to manage your finance properly, it has to do with your accommodation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So exactly. So I think someone just even asked about accommodation. So that it has to do with accommodation. So, and that is one of the first thing too that you might need to consider before deciding on which university you want to apply to. For instance, if you want to apply to, let's say, a school like Imperial College, which
Yeah.
is in the heart of London,
Yeah.
then you should be ready to spend more
Yeah. Yeah.
because we're talking about London, not just any part of London, the
Yeah.
heart of London.
Yeah.
So
Central.
yeah, yeah. So central. So that's why accommodation has to depend on your location. So, but if you move to, say, Coventry,
Yeah.
Glasgow,
Yeah.
like Glasgow and all that, you spend way less than what you're supposed to spend for accommodation in London. But
Yeah.
then also in London, you can also do what we call shared
Shared
accommodation.
accommodation. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to
Yeah.
spend, but you might not have the luxury like you have in cities like Glasgow, where you can decide to pay for the amount you're going to pay for shared accommodation in London. You can use
Yeah.
that to get two-bedroom flat for yourself alone here
Yeah.
in Glasgow or some other cities.
Yeah. Okay. So someone said, January said London and areas around are pretty expensive. That's very correct. And
Yeah, yeah,
Osamo Jude, I'm doing a PhD currently at Imperial. I feel sorry for myself
yeah,
because of
because of
accommodation. So yeah, look, guys, I'm gonna tell you, I did my master's in Canterbury. So practically, because some people are coming, some people on this life are coming to uni this year. So just have to give them practical tips. Um, I was paying £350 per month for uh, a shared apartment. So that is like you have a room, just a box room to yourself, and the communal area, which is the kitchen, the toilet, and the what's it called, the sitting room area, is all shared. So and you're paying just £350. But my friend or my cousin who was in Luton in Bedfordshire and the one in Hertfordshire, we are paying £200. And guys, £200 in Nigeria on the average is like £90, 90,000 naira. But I was paying 350. Meanwhile, my friend who was in London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine in the heart of London was paying about £600 for accommodation. So you can imagine. So it depends on what city, like Maclean has already said, what city you live in, what city the university is, and what kind of accommodation you want. You can decide. My friend, one of my friends in the same uni, because his dad is such a very, very rich person, he got an apartment all to himself, and on a monthly basis, he was paying £800. Yeah. Meanwhile, that's what working class people pay for accommodation. So you have to consider all these things. Tell yourself, how much am I willing to spend? Because imagine if you spend, let's say, £400 on the average for accommodation. Your living expenses as a student should not be more than £200-300, right? So spending like 700, miscellaneous and every other thing 100. So on the average, you spend between £600 to £800 a month as a student.
Mm, yeah,
It can be more than that. Like B-boys can spend more than that. So it all depends on how you want to live and what resources are available to you, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so moving forward, yeah, I just want us to touch briefly because we're going to end this live session very soon, like in the next 10 minutes. Briefly, the quality of training of educational program in the UK. I know earlier on we talked about, is it really necessary for people to come abroad to do to school? And we say, yeah. So the quality and how it affects your job opportunities afterwards. What do you have to do to remain in the UK after your education?
Okay, but for now, for those that are going to apply from or to start from next year, yeah,
Yeah,
that is 2020-2021 session. I think
yeah.
they're lucky enough that the post-study visa is back. So after,
Have they started that, or is just in the pipeline?
it's in the pipe. It's in the pipe. Is confirmed already, but for next session, not this academic session. It's
Okay.
confirmed, but not for this academic session. For next,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
so for anyone that's going to start by the next academic session, they are part of the scheme.
So, guys, let me just tell you what post-study visa means. Before, right, after your program, let's say if you're coming to do a 1-year program, master's is usually 9 months or 12 months. If after your program you have like 4 extra months, so they give you a visa of 16 months to do a 12 or 9 months program. But now they are going back to the old ways where your visa will be extra 2 years added
2 years.
on what you should have normally. So those 2 years give you the opportunity to stay back and work or get some job experience or do whatever. So I think that is actually a good move. And it also gives you an opportunity to consider what next you want to do in terms of your plan. Okay, go ahead, take it from there.
So like you rightly said, so within that 2 years, obviously, I mean, if you try and apply for several jobs, if you try and keep applying for several jobs, you stand a chance of getting one, and then from there you can work your way through and live your life and continue from there. So yeah, from the post-study visa is actually an avenue for you to do that. And also in terms of the job prospect, I want to believe that with the with post Brexit,
Yeah,
those coming from Nigeria or Africa in general should have a level playing field right now to compete with
for
other
jobs.
people from the European countries for jobs.
Yeah,
So it's not like before where they need to consider them before international students from Nigeria or from Africa in general. So right
yeah.
now, I think they stand a better chance of getting the jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. This has been so insightful. I'm just going to do a quick summary, then I'll allow you to give your parting words. So we'll close. I think we've answered so many questions that people are asking already. Osama Jude has already said that from his research, the post-study visa, people coming this period will stand a chance. That's also what Maclean has said already. So the
Mm.
next academic session, most likely, will start. And you know what they normally say is that after your program, after your master's or your undergrad, whatever, for you to get a job that will sponsor your visa, you need to have a job that will pay you at least £25,000 per annum. So if you do so well and apply, if there is, if your job is on the international, on the shortage occupation list, if there is need for your expertise and they are willing to sponsor that visa, they can do that. But with this new development of the post-study visa, that gives you extra 2 years to even relax, get a normal job, which even if it doesn't pay up to 25,000 quid, get a normal job, work, save money, decide on what next phase of your life you want to proceed, and that's fine. Someone say after graduating from a master's program, do you have a good chance of getting a relatable professional job, not menial jobs like while you were a student? Yeah, that's what we just said already now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you do well, and it depends on one doing well. Two is if the job is on the shortage occupation list. Three is if the job you're applying for, I mean, they actually need people to do that job, so you can apply. And if it's a job that pays beyond £25,000 and your company is happy to employ you, they will automatically give you a visa, probably a tier 4 visa that can keep you. The other thing I forgot to mention in this whole chat is that when you come to do a program in the UK, you definitely will be coming with a tier 4 visa.
Okay.
And your dependent, maybe your partner, your wife, or your spouse, whatever, can come as a dependent on your visa. So whilst you are doing the program, your partner can work on limited hours. So
Yeah.
so that is a way of getting some good money
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
family and to sustain you. So for everyone joining us, we're going to end now. We've been talking about the process, how to get admission in the UK, the UK educational system, and job prospect afterwards, visa, and I've also answered a whole lot of questions. I'm gonna leave this chat is gonna be on for 24 hours, and I'll upload it on YouTube so you can watch it with permission from Maclean. We'll upload it on YouTube so you can watch it, and for reference purpose until we take it down afterwards. And I just want you to give your concluding thoughts, because after now we have another session for those who are interested in studying America. So I'm bringing on Dr. Adenike, who will come to do the same thing that Maclean has done for the UK, but she will be doing that for America. So do you want to just tell us some things before we wrap up this?
Yeah, my concluding thought is, like they say, anything worth doing is worth doing well. So if you're coming to the UK to study, I mean, it makes no sense if you're going to spend a lot of money to come to the UK and you come here to study, but then you're not focused to actually achieve what you're coming to do. So it might as well be better if you do that in Nigeria instead of coming to the UK to throw away the money, so to say. So once you get to the UK, you need to be focused, manage your time properly. Like I normally tell people that one of the things that you need to succeed here is to manage your time properly. I have a formula for that. Why not spend all the time during the before summer holiday and then spend all that time on your studies and then enjoy and have fun during the summer holiday, which is the longest, instead of trying to catch up with your studies during the summer holiday or trying to go for receipt exams for the case of undergraduate students. Do that within the winter and the spring, and then during the summer holiday you can have all the time to have fun and all that. So in a nutshell, manage your time properly, and then you're going to get the best out of whatever money you're going to spend in the UK.
All right, that's very fine. Thank you. Someone said thank you, but I've just checked what Engineer Maclean said on Facebook about Made Men Foundation, but I can't find.
Wait, let me drop it here.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Drop it here. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So I just dropped the.
Yeah, so that is a link for scholarship opportunities. You can just check that out and see if that is applicable to you or if it's something you can benefit from. All right. Thank you very much, bro. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me here. Thank you.
All right.
Amazing.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Bye. So, guys, hello everyone. Thank you very much for joining. Automatically, I think Instagram will log us out in the next couple of minutes. So I will go off and come back to reconnect with Dr. Adenike Eketunde. Is the same domain man from Maclean? I don't know. Just check the website, whatever that gives you. Yeah. To be honest, I don't know about this foundation, but he's giving us, so it's good if you just want to check it out. And yeah, thank you. The next one starts in 3 minutes. I'm gonna go have a cup of tea now and come back. All right, bye guys.